Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will be seeing how to implement React routers so that you can route through using different URLs. Also, we will be looking how to use JOTs to authorize a user for a particular URL. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Before we start implementing React router, first we need to install its dependency. So open up your terminal and type npm install react router DOM. This is the package that we need to implement the React router. It will take few seconds to install. Yeah, so it's installed. Now what we need to do is first we need to import two things. One is browser router and route. These are the two things that we need to import from React router DOM. Browser router and route are both present. So now we can remove this and we can implement our browser router. Inside browser router, what we want is route. So this is nothing but the route where it will redirect to. Based on the path, it will take two parameters. Route will take two parameters. One is path and other one is component. So first you need to define your path. For the first case, it will be slash, as by default we would want it to redirect to login. So we'll tell it to redirect to login whenever the path slash comes. Now after this, you can just copy paste it, change it to sign up. When the route is sign up, you go to sign up page. And when it is home, you go to to do. Now there is an issue. You can see slash is common in all of these three. So as soon as you hit any of these URL, React will get confused on to which about which it should show. So to uh, rectify that issue, we can say exact. There's a keyword exact. If you want the path to be exactly mapped, not just match, it should be exactly mapped. So we use exact. Now we can start the server. Let's wait while it comes up. Started. So as soon as we hit this URL, it is going to home. Okay, we haven't saved it. Let's save it, and now we can see as soon as we hit slash URL, it will redirect to login. Now if we put sign up, it will redirect to sign up page, and home will redirect to to do page. So our router is working perfectly. Now the next thing that we want is as soon as the person logs in, if we go to the default one, as soon as the person logs in, he should be redirected to home page. So to do that, first the user needs to be validated via login and then the JOT should be available. So now here comes the authorization. Any person who has last logged in can directly go to home and it will show its home page. But the issue is, what if the person who is using the laptop is not the same person? He can still access your to-dos. So to rectify that issue or to solve that issue, that is why we are implementing JOT. As soon as you close the browser, your session will be invalidated. And if you try to hit this URL, you will be redirected to home page. To login page. So that is how the user authentication and authorization is maintained. So we'll see that next how to implement. Now to implement JOT authorization, we need to go as soon as we log in, nothing happens. This is the correct password. If I make it something else, it'll tell the password is invalid. But what if the password is valid? What happens? So you can see here in the else if condition, we have not written anything. So for now, I'll just console log the response that we are getting. So that is res.txt and we'll put await and save it. And now let's open the console, not page source, console. And as soon as we log in, password, you can see we see logged in with JOT. But this is not what we want. We only want the JOT to be returned. So all we need to do is head back to our backend and all we need to do here is in this line, rather than sending this, all we will send is JWT. Save it and it will refresh. Wait for the server to be up and the work is done for the backend. If I log in now, you can see I only received the JOT, which is the only thing that we want. Now comes the fun part. We will get the JOT and we'll save it, JOT. And we will add it to our session storage. Session storage is nothing but till any of the window regarding that particular URL, say localhost 3000 is open, the session will be valid, the storage will be valid. As soon as I close all the tabs, the session or the storage will no longer be valid. This is different from local storage as local storage is indefinitely stored. It is deleted after some time, but as like even if you close it, if then also you can, as soon as you access homepage or any other page, it will let you access because it is stored locally and it does not have a specific time frame. While as in session, as soon as you close all your browsers, the storage will be deleted. So that is why we will be using session storage, as it's better to use session storage when handling sensitive data. So we'll use session storage and we'll set the item. We'll name the item as JWT and we'll store JWT. That is it. And what we want is as soon as we get the JOT, if the JOT, okay, first we need to check it. If the JOT is not null, then we can set it. Else, we'll do is we'll show a warning. We'll say server error. That is it. We don't want anything specific saying JOT and all because all we want to tell is that there is some error in the backend. Let's store this. And one more thing that I want to do is as soon as it logs in, we want it to go to the home page, our to-do page. So for doing that, we need to say this dot props dot history dot push. So this history is nothing but the browser history or the URL that you are accessing. So we will push our home page URL, say home, save it and let's test it. We will say Johnny user and password is password, login, and you can see we are logged in. We went to our home page, that is our to-do page. Now, if I try to add something, you can see it's saying status 401, that means unauthorized. The user is unauthorized because if you go to your backend, you see to-do controller in insert to-do, it checks whether the valid JWT is valid or not, and it gets the JWT from auth token. While as we are not sending the JWT, we are only sending the body. So to fix that, let's move on to to-do model. And for the starters, we'll fix add to-do model because this is where uh, it will be adding to the actual thing. So all we need to do is first, one more important thing is that it should only go to the to-do page if the JWT is valid or the JWT is there. So how do we do that? We say uh, we there's a special function called component did mount, and in this we will get the JWT from the session storage dot get item. Now, if we get the JWT, if it is there, if it is not there, like JWT is not is equal, okay, is not equal to null, is null, sorry, not equal to, is null. If we don't get anything from session storage, what we want it to do is we want it to redirect to login. So again, this dot props dot history dot push, and this time we'll just push slash. Now, if I close this and now I'll try to access local host colon 3000. You can see, sorry, not 3000, slash home. You can see it is redirecting to login page. If you want me to try again, I'll show home. As soon as I enter, it will throw me back to the login page. This is how you maintain the authenticity of any of your users. Because why this is happening? Because when I am trying to get the JWT, there is no JWT in the session storage because I closed it. Now, if I log in, password, and now if I try to go by another route, it is working. It throws me back out because the session isn't valid. In this tab, the session isn't valid, so it will throw me out. The session is only valid for this browser, this tab, you can say. So that is why it is throwing me out there because the session variable related to that particular tab is not available. It's only available for this tab. Now, the next thing that we want to do is if we'll have a JWT variable here, we'll keep it null, and here as soon as we get it, we want this dot set state, and we want to set the state of JWT to JWT, and there we go. Now, the other thing that we want to do is add to do model. We want to send the JWT. JWT is equals to this dot state dot JWT. Save it, and now in add to do model we can access the JWT. So after this props, we will create our own JSON now, which we will be sending. So let's name the JSON data, and the first data will be to-dos. As you can see in the backend, our to-do type is, oh sorry, not to-do type, but in the user control, oh sorry, in the to-do controller, you can see we have the auth token from the body and the to-dos from the body. So we want two variables. One is to-dos, and we'll set it to props dot user to-dos. The other one will be auth token, and this will be props dot jwt. Now we have created our data. It's time to send it. And how do we send it? All we need to say is data, save it. Now as soon as you save it, let's close this one and open it here, 3000, and let's try to log in. Password is password login. Okay, sorry. Password. Now if I log in and I try to add my to-dos, some use sanitizer, something. And if I check, inspect now, console, clear this, and if I add it, now you can see status is 200. That means it has inserted into the database. Till now, it was not inserting it into the database, it was just showing in the list. So now it is actually inserting in the database. This is how you do jot. Everywhere, this is how we will need to do the jot thing. Now there's a better way. Rather than sending the body, we send it as a header as bearer, but that will be a little bit complicated for this tutorial as it's just a beginning thing for production. So this is how a production app actually works. It has a bearer. It stores those jots in the cookies and uses cookies for transferring the jot and all those things for other microservices and all those things. But for very small application like this, we are doing it via body. Now, as soon as I log in, I should get my to-dos. So that again will happen here. Now I am setting this. If it is valid, what I want to do is I want to use this function, get to-dos by user ID, which is nothing but insert user. So here, as I'm using this, I'll just copy paste this and put it here. Instead of insert, I'll have user. And what are the parameters that it wants? We can go to the to-do controller and see it only wants auth token. It will only take the auth token and it will automatically generate the it will automatically get the user ID or the object ID from the jot, sorry. So all we need to do is create a JSON, or we can directly do it here rather than creating a variable. All we can do is send it like this: auth token colon this, or just we send it as JWT. Let's save it. Failed to compile. Oh, okay, okay. I need to set a sync in front of it and let's save it. Now it's working. Yeah, so we are fetching and let's see. Yeah, we are getting. If I get the JSON from here and put await, yeah, we get our to-dos. You can see we have our to-dos. So now we get our to-dos as we wanted. It's in zero length array. Now we want to show this into the array, into our actual array, user to-dos. So we will modify that by saving this as let fetch to-dos equal to await JSON this. Now this dot yeah, first we will need to get the user to-dos. Let user to-dos temp user to-dos equal to this dot state dot user to-dos. We'll get the to-dos. Now in temp user to-dos we will push all the fetched to-dos. Now, or rather, we'll just directly put it as it is the first time this is happening. So set state user to-dos, fetched to-dos. Let's save it and see what happens. Yes, we get our to-dos here. Now if I add one more, wear mask, add it, you can see we got it here. Now if I refresh, still I am getting this. So it's working as intended. Now the last thing that we need to update is here. It's the same thing. We can just copy paste this and put it here. Rather than props, it will be this dot state dot JWT, I think. Yeah. And we will be sending this one. And we'll say data. Save it. Failed to compile props. Okay, sorry. This dot state dot user to do's. Yep. Save it. Now, if I close this one, delete this one, and update it, you can see we are getting 200. And if I refresh, you can see we only have sanitizer. Now, if I again add wear mask, add, and I tick it and I update, you can see again the status is 200. If I refresh now, I will still get this as checked. All our functionalities are working as intended. Sign up is working, our login is working. Now we have routers also, and we have our to-dos working as we intended. Even if I tick it, update it, and refresh it, I still get those. If you want, I can verify by going to localhost 3000 and I will log in as Johnny user. Password is password. I will log in and you can see it's the same. I'm getting the data as I have intended to get it. So what we have learned is how to implement JOT, how to implement router, and how to use authentication using JOTs. In the next video, we will be seeing how to implement the Redux part of React. So we will be seeing how to add reducers, actions, and all those things. And we will be completing our production level application by at the end by using Redux because that's how actual React apps are made. You can't have a single store. You can't have states sent everywhere. Rather, you need a single store where everyone can access it. So in the next video, we will be seeing that. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one.